Let's take a moment and go to the heart of the city. A geographic pool of activity where the human race thrives and progress is the marker of our success. So, you have come to join the human race. Congratulations. But there is just one prerequisite. You must function. In human life, functioning is everything. But the question is, can we function on our own? Or do we depend on substances in order to reach the level of function that we need?
In about 1976, I went travelling through Southeast Asia, and I didn't feel very comfortable in the places. And also, I was migrating to the United States at the same time, and I just couldn't sleep. And when I was in Bali, I went to one of the doctors there. I went to the hospital, and I wanted some help with sleep. And they told me, oh, just go down to their equivalent of a chemist, and you can just buy these tablets. The doctor said it was safe, just go buy some, and I did.
Life can get overwhelming sometimes, so we need to ask ourselves, what do we do when we become overworked? When we are sad? When we become anxious? When we can't sleep? For most of us, we look to take ourselves to the doctor. And at the doctor, what we are most likely to be prescribed is some sort of pharmaceutical drug. And in this case, it would probably be a benzodiazepine.
Well, this is the thing. Benzodiazepine is one of the most potent drugs formulated by human beings. It's quite a toxic chemical that, used properly, is very effective, but it actually works on your central nervous system. It binds to a thing called benzodiazepine receptor, which is scattered throughout the brain and the nervous system. It actually depresses your nervous system, so it alters your sleep pattern, your sleep architecture. It changes your hormonal function. It changes your sympathetic system, which controls your heart and your breathing, controls your memory, your cognition, how you think, and memory. So it's a widespread effect.
Benzodiazepines are a group of pharmaceutical drugs that can be a grand saviour in the short term. But if we're not careful, they can soon turn our lives into a living hell.
One particular night I felt so very sick. I got on the internet and I just put halcyon in the search box, and I realised to my horror that I'd become completely dependent on a drug.
The biggest issue is the dependency. People become both physically and psychologically dependent on them. So what you find over time is that people have to increase the dose to get the same effect as what they got initially.
The medication actually stops them experiencing a heightened level of joy. Yeah, so it's like they takes away the negative symptoms, but there's a plateau.
You might come across people who are addicted to this. So they're seeking benzodiazepine. They're like anything like drug-seeking behavior, cocaine, amphetamine, ice. Benzodiazepine is very used and abused.
Well, most people don't realise that in a very short period of time, in as little as 7 days in fact, they can become completely dependent on these drugs, and the choice to stop is not a straightforward one.
I went from doctor to doctor to doctor to try and get off these tablets. I knew they were no good for me, and I would get incorrect advice on how to come off them. One doctor said, cut the tablet in half, then in half again, so cut them into quarters and take a quarter, 3/4 for a few days. Then, after a few days, take half a tablet. Well, that's absolutely dangerous advice. To get off those sorts of tablets, You really have to do it slowly.
It can take anywhere from 30 to 50 weeks of tapering off, and generally it's really left to the discretion of the patient to pick a rate that's suitable for them, so they're not withdrawing too quickly and experiencing all the side effects.
Okay, so what do benzodiazepines actually do? Benzos work by slowing down your brain. Neurons are the core component of our nervous system. Benzos work by slowing sensory neurons. GABA is a natural chemical in your brain, and benzos increase the efficiency of GABA and lowering the communication between these neurons. Benzos affect your whole body.
I helped pharmacists, I helped nurses, I helped teachers, I helped just ordinary everyday parents with these drugs. People don't like to say that they're addicted because they don't want to be put in that other category, and nor should they be put in that other category.
So how serious is the situation? Well, if we could talk to Whitney Houston, Kurt Cobain or Heath Ledger, then they might be able to give us an accurate description of what it's like to be in full dependence of benzos. Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac got through a dependency on Klonopin, and she tells us that it's worse than being addicted to cocaine.
And this drug was more deadly than the coke.
We could also do a quick YouTube search to hear the voices of hundreds of people blogging their experiences as they withdraw from benzos. Doctors are prescribing benzos for a quick fix, and yes, it's an effective method to clear the waiting room. But are their patients getting better? Do our doctors realise the effects of dependency to benzos, or are they just simply ignoring the signs?
It's certainly a lot easier to prescribe a medication which takes 5 minutes than it is to go through lifestyle choices and various other tools and techniques that you can use. Patients want a quick fix. They don't really want to make too many adjustments with their life. They just want to take a pill and have the symptom go away.
Surely it's not the only way. Surely a pill is not the only answer to a good night's sleep. Surely a pill is not the only answer to being functional in society. And these are just two aspects of life that everybody deserves, no matter who they are or what they do.
We're here to support anybody that wants to create a lasting change, but for those that don't want to come, then we go, I totally understand, because to feel your hurts is often something that feels very overwhelming, and sometimes people just go, it feels too big of a step for me right now, and that's totally okay as well. We're not here to judge that or to make that wrong. It's just going, we're here. Whether it's now or whether it's 5 years' time, we're here and we'll always be here.
The beginning of recovery is accepting where you're at. Not fighting it, not blaming it, not living in constant blame with everybody else and hatred and that. It's not about getting even with anyone. It's about learning to become you again. Because when you're under the influence of those sorts of drugs, you're not really you. Everything's clouded. You're not, there's no clarity there at all. So when you learn to accept where you're at, then you get to the next step of where to from here. What do I need to do? So sometimes it just has to be gentle. Sometimes baby steps. And that as you get you back, as you get rid of all of this stuff that stops you from being yourself, being the true you, then that is the path. Tranquilizer Free offers you a way out. I can show you how. I can hold your hand. I can lead you along the path, what the traps are, where the dead ends are. So, what do you get out of it? You get your life back. And how important that life is to you is up to you. It was very, very important to me. And I truly feel joy in my life. I truly feel happy.